So you can double your ad budget, but it's not going to matter if you're booking less than half your leads for appointments. And so the fastest way to grow your revenue is not necessarily more leads. It's going to be improving your lead to booked appointment, ratio, the rate. And so here I want to show you how to do exactly that. And so we're going to create this heat map and then also put this dynamic trigger here because we could visualizing this. It's better because a chart doesn't necessarily tell you. It could tell you, but it'd be a very noisy chart. And so just to give you an example, this, if you were to create a chart out of this by lead source, it's this is not this is just for Angie, right? And so if you look at something like this, it's like this doesn't tell you anything. I mean, it's too noisy. So doing a heat map is a better way to do it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it by month, by year, by marketing channel, and then also do an overall by marketing channel, and then create this dynamic changing. So okay, so let's get started. So you have a data set here. If you want this data set, there's a link to download it. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen this data set before. You might already have it, or from the book. And so what we need, the main thing we need is the channel, the lead date, and then also here we're gonna have appointment booked. So yes or no. And so you can recreate this, fairly easy in any of the softwares you're using. You can just add custom fields, or if you're getting say 10, 15 leads a day, it just have somebody manually enter in this data. It might take 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes a day to do this. Because the insights you can get if you have all of these fields is extremely valuable and way, worth way more than, the 10 minutes you're going to pay somebody to do that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to strip out the month and the year from the lead date column. So you can do lead date if you have a timestamp. If you have this file, then it doesn't matter which one you do because we want the month and the year, and the month and the year are the same in these two. It's just one has a a timestamp. And I've already done it to create the heat map I showed you in the beginning, but I'll show you again how to do it. So equals text, and then go to whatever cell you want to use for the date, comma, and then 4 M's. And then for the year, same formula, text, go to, again, whichever cell you're using, and then comma, and then with quotations, and then 4 Y's. So 4 Y's give you the year, 4 M's give you the month. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to get a unique list of this right here. I mean, you could type that in if you want, but I'll show you an easier way to do it. So equals unique, and then go to the two columns that were just created. I mean, we'll do these two, but you can use the other ones as well. The reason I'll use these two is because the column heading of month and year, we need it. So highlight month and year, press Control Shift and the down arrow to go to the end of your range, and then press enter. And now you can see you have a unique list, and it's also chronological because the date is chronological. That column was also chronological. So if not, you would need to sort it, to organize it in a way that is chronological. And then I'm just going to highlight this, Control C, Control Shift V as in Victor, to remove the formula. We don't want the formula in it. And the next thing we need is we need a unique list of the marketing channel, right? Angie, email, Facebook, whatever your marketing source is. And we know the table already. We already have the table, so we don't even have to go back to the data tab. We can just do unique table, open your bracket, and then we know the column name is channel. And so now we have that. But I want to show you two more formulas. The first one is we want to sort this alphabetically. So all you have to do is before unique, type in sort, open your bracket, and then close on the end of the formula. So now it's sorted, and then now, but we want it across the row and not in the column. So here, transpose, and then close here, and now it's how you want it. I'm just gonna again copy this, and then Control Shift V to paste it. And then let's just make some of these wider. You can highlight everything and do it this way, but I want email and direct to be a little bit wider. Maybe Yelp is a little bit wider. Okay, so we have this sort of, it takes 5 minutes just to get everything set up before you can actually get the insights. And so from here, what we want is we want to count, because we have the appointment date and we have appointment booked. You can do it on either one. I'll do it here because it's easier, because we have a yes. And so essentially I want to see how many rows are there where this is yes, this is January, this is 2025, and then this is, whatever channel, Angie, organic search, all that. And so I'm going to delete this. And so that's what we want to do. That's the numerator, that's what we're going to count. And then the denominator is we need to count how many rows there are in general. So essentially the yeses plus the nos. So we know the table name. Again, if you need to have this in a table, and you can do that by pressing Control T. You just go in your data and press Control T, and then the table will be there. And then you'll see this tab. And we know that the table name is table leads. And so now we can use that in the formula. And so the formula we want to count if Angie, count if January, count if 2025, count if the booked appointment is yes, right? And in Excel, there's a formula called COUNTIF. But you want to do COUNTIF S. COUNTIF, this formula here, is a single criteria. So COUNTIF Angie, and maybe that's what you want to do for other metrics you're trying to calculate. But we're using multiple criteria, so COUNTIF S. And then here, the sequencing doesn't matter, meaning you can start with Angie, you can start with the month, you can start with the year, you can start with the appointment set as yes. So I'll just start with the appointment booked column, and then we need yes. Make sure you use quotations, because this is text. And then the next ones, I'm going to go a little bit faster. So we know the month is here. We know the month is in cell B3. Table leads. Year is in C3, comma. Table leads. Channel is in D. Okay, so this is saying there were 6 appointments booked for January 25 for Angie. So now we need the denominator to get the percentage, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this formula, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to divide by the same formula. But this time we're going to remove the yes, right? So essentially now we're just counting how many leads were there for Angie January 25. And that's what this is going to show. And now we have the percentage. So numerator is yes, Angie booked, January 25. Denominator is total Angie January 25, because in the booked column, it's only yes or no. There's only 2 possibilities, right? And so, yeah. So the next thing we want to do is we want to drag this formula, over and then down. But you'll notice that it's all errors. And the reason for this is because of a thing called absolute and relative referencing. Right now it's relative referencing, meaning if I drag this over, the appointment booked becomes appointment date. And we're looking for a yes in the date column. And so we don't have that. Also, you'll see B3 becomes C3, because it's all relative as you move things over. And so we need to tell Excel, hey, we want to, as we drag this over, we want these to stay the same. And as we drag it down, we don't want Angie to become 55%. There's no 55% in the marketing channel column, right? And so what you have to do is, anywhere you see the rows, like these over here, put the $ before the column, so before the letter. Because in Excel, you see the top here, those are the columns are by the letter. And then anywhere you see the row, so D2, put the $ before the row and after the column, meaning before the number and after the letter. And that's good. And also, because this is a table, you're still going to have that issue, meaning appointment booked becomes appointment date. But the way around that is just copy the formula and then paste the formula. And now you have everything you need. And so the final thing I want to do is let's create an overall by channel. So we can call this, overall. And the benefit is we don't need to redo the whole thing again. All we have to do is take this and strip out the month and the year, because we just want Angie. So anywhere you see the month and the year, which is right here, just delete that. And then the same thing here for month and year. Delete that. And then Control Shift 5. And now you have it for the marketing channel. And then again, make sure you copy and paste. Don't drag it. If you drag it, you're going to get errors because the table columns are going to change. Okay, so finally, to finish up, we want to have a dynamic changing cell. And the way we do that, let's just type in a percentage of, say, I don't know, 50%, right? Which is pretty high. Lead to appointment booked. And so now highlight the range that you want to change values. And so because we also want the overall, hold down the control key and then highlight that as well. Go to home, conditional formatting, highlight cells less than, and then click on this cell. And you'll see how it's $0, $2. That's the referencing we just talked about. So now no matter where it is in this data set, it'll automatically be tied to this cell. So click OK, and now you can see. And so now you have a dynamic changing cell, and you can see, what is below, 75%. And you can see 10, 15, 20. So you can see like, hey, email marketing, it's a very, low, lead to booked appointment, 14 out of 100 leads. And then also another thing you'll want to look at, which is outside the scope of this video, is the counts. So in other words, how many leads were there for email? Maybe it's 0. If you want to get that, all you have to do is take the denominator of this. So if you were to do this, and then equals this, you can see there were 4 leads. So 0 out of 4 booked. And so something, a little bit concerning. And so the final thing is I want to make this a target cell, meaning I want the word target in here. And the benefit is that if you share this with your team, then they'll know like, hey, change this cell to make the heat map. So if I were to type in target, 50%, it breaks everything because now it's being read as text, and you can't compare text to a numerical value. So I'll show you how to fix that. So type in, whatever number, go into the cell, press Control-1, go to Custom, and then you can see the percentage here, and then quotations, and then target, :space, quotation. And then OK, and now you have your dynamic changing cell. All right, so that is sort of the end of this video. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, questions@databoard.io. If you want this data set, there's a link to download it. You can't find it, shoot me an email, but just say, hey, Ryan, can you shoot me the lead to booked appointment marketing file, just so I know which one you're wanting. And then if you need help, restructuring this data or getting insights from your data, there's a link to my calendar, or you can shoot me an email. We can chat about, what you got and if we can find some insights for you. But anyways, that's all I got for this video, and I'll see you in future lessons.